are better than you. Hey to my daughter, Patricia Master said, love you, Bishop. Amen. I appreciate you so very much. Amen. Write that down, please. The only way you're going to learn is to surround yourself with people who are better than you. Did you hear what I said? You'll never get to the place of promise where you need to be, always being with the people already in your spirit. You got to grow with some people who have already done it, and some people who can help you get to where it is that you need to be. I'm a person that believes that you have to be around idealistic people who can actually change your very life, and their size is bigger than yours to the size you're trying to grow to. It doesn't make sense to everybody. If my goal was to be a better leader, hear me. If your goal is to be a better leader, you need to be exposed to bigger and better leaders outside of your own circle. First of all, I want you to understand something. Your circle ain't that big. Amen. You can have 5,000 people in it and it's still small. You need to make sure that you get exposed to some bigger and better leaders outside of your circle. A lot of times, and I'll give you an example to be true, around the country, I'm known as an Episcopal guru. I'm known to a lot of people around the world in the apostolic and the Episcopal structure, helping people set up their apostolic spheres, helping them set up their churches. I'm a pioneer, a trailblazer, trendsetter, as people will say. This is what the world say, of what it is that I do. So I knew a lot of leadership. A lot of people pull on me for leadership. However, when I joined the John Maxwell team in 2015, I went into a room, and for the first time in my life, I can actually say I was actually intimidated, because I was in the room with people who were smarter than me. Are y'all listening to me? You can never get so complacent that once you've arrived in the room that you own the room and think you're the only one that can occupy it. Did you hear what I just said? You're going to have to learn in this season of your life, hear me, you're going to have to learn how to share your ideas, and you need to make sure that you understand that you are going to be in a league that's not your own. Now get ready to help you. When you begin to share your ideas just like I did, it was very clear to me real quick I was nowhere near in their league. I feel like I was like a fish without water. Amen. And I'm telling you, I was way in over my head. I was trying to swim. Hear me. But I got encouraged because I discovered that great men are willing to share their ideas with me. And I began to learn. You have to be in a room where you can just learn and not always be the teacher. I'm a firm believer, and I say this all the time. Around the world, I can be places and people will say so many great things. I can get back home, I'm telling you, anything that was ever built up in my life is sure enough to be towed down just like that. I'm telling you. Because I wanted to make sure, and hear me, and I've always made this a constant effort. I've always intentionally wanted to pursue personal growth. I've always was that way, even from a kid. So when I look at gaps between things, I feel like that I was always trying to catch up. And now that I'm able to bring that spear to kids that I work with at the school, watch this here, it taught me how to bridge those gaps. Watch this here. For men, women, y'all may not believe this, but I'm sorry, mothers will believe it, especially if you're buying it for your kids. Kids, they love gym shoes. Y'all call them tennis shoes, sneakers, whatever y'all want to call it. You know, some of y'all are very prolific in your language. Here in Chicago, we call them gym shoes. So watch this here. And that was my connector with kids. So my brother, one of the Episcopal giants of our fellowship, Bishop Rasheem Brown, he taught me that. He said, if you really want to get connected to kids, you got to make sure your shoe game is tight. Never forget it. And now that I work in the school with the kids, not just the faculty, but with the kids, I learned, hear me, that was my connector. Hear me. It brought them out of a comfort zone to make them trust me. And then also it brought me into a place where I can be relatable to them. Are y'all staying with me? Sometimes we go through very difficult transitions because we only want to learn this particular sphere, but don't want to know all of the sphere. If you're going to be great in the company, you got to know all of the areas, that even where there's areas of discomfort. You are the same person today that you're going to be in the next 5 years from now, except for two things: the people with whom you associate yourself with, and from the books that you read. Are y'all listening to me? You got to make sure that you know the reference gap. You got to make sure that you associate yourself with people that are larger than ourselves. We try to spend our time, hear me, with people of integrity. Are y'all listening to me? You got to spend your time with people who are positive, people who thinks ahead of us professionally, people who lifts us up instead of knocking us down, people who take the high road and never the low road. Are y'all listening to me? And above all, you really want to be with people that's growing. Now, all that I just said, that's straight spirit. But I'm saying to you, you cannot, hear me, you cannot take the growth journey ride alone. Sometimes you gotta make sure, if you're gonna do it, the significance is having people with you to want to take the right environment to help everybody grow. Are you listening to me? If you change nothing else in your life, hear me, you have got to increase your chances of success tenfold by not just taking you, but your whole team with you. If you're willing to grow where you need to grow, you got to think long and hard about who it is you're spending your time with and where you're headed. And sometimes you got to make a list of people who are actually draining you. I'm working on a series that I'm going to preach. I'm an asset, I'm the investment, I'm the liability. Are y'all listening to me? That's what I'm working on right now. The asset, the liability. The assets, the investment, the liability. You cannot, watch this, please write this down. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. Did you listen to me? Please write that down. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And when I began, hear me, when I began in 2015 to engage myself into my personal growth, I soon discovered that I would be into a lifelong process. I used to change my mind set, and it has changed drastically to how long would this take to how far I can go. Did you hear what I just said? I had to change myself from the mindset of how long it's going to take to actually be in the place of how far can I go. The question you should ask yourself right now is, hear me, you will not be able to always answer it. Because the start of any growth plan, hear me, watch this here, watch this, you will not be able to answer that immediately. And I'm telling you, out of all the things that I do, everything that I do right now, I'm still trying to find some answers. But the best thing I can do is hope in my life, wish in my life, pray in my life that I make the most out of whatever is given to me. Are y'all listening to me? You got to make the most out of whatever is given to me. I was telling some people the other day, I always play the cards that I dealt. Can I tell you something? The devil didn't throw me a bad hand in all things. God threw me a bad hand in some things. But watch this here. I can't get mad at God. I can't even get mad at Satan sometimes. I gotta blame me for the hand that I dealt. Are y'all listening to me? And sometimes you got to be honest with yourself. Would your life have been better before you connected with this one? Would your life have been better if you didn't take that turn? Would your life have been better if I didn't associate with these particular people? That's why you have got to learn how to invest in yourself and making sure that you can be the best that you can be. I invest in everybody. I buy just about everybody. Anything that they ask for, I get shirt off my back. I'll help in any area that I can help. But watch this here. I had to get to a place. When am I going to learn how to invest in me? When am I going to learn how to do something for me? And I had to learn how to work. Watch this here. I work for the greater benefit of potential of what I can get later. Hear me. That's why I get great rewards later. I never want anything. If anybody is on here, they'll tell you I never like to work on projects and get rewarded in this regard. I don't like small prizes. I like the grand big prize. So hear me. I'm not going to take a small box when I know a big box is available. Now, some of you can be deep and falucinated, and this is what you can say, well, Apostle, it ain't in the size of the box. To me, in my mindset, I want to make sure that I'm going to work my seat, work my middle, and make sure that I'm getting a greater potential gift for what I can go to. The farther you should try to grow, you got to give yourself the best. Hear me. Give yourself the best to become the best. You have to learn how to invest in yourself. Some of you girls in here right now watching me, you wonderful women, amen, you will never get red bottoms with a pay less mentality. Are y'all listening to me? You will never get a Michael Kors. You'll never get a Coach. You'll never get a Gucci. You'll never get the bag that you need to as long as you continue to keep buying knockoffs. You got to learn in this season, you got to save. And let me help you real quick, girlfriend. It makes no sense to buy a $700 bag with $5 in it. Until you got the right money, I'd rather you have a $5 bag with $700 in it. Y'all ain't going to like me today. But you got to know your potential. You got to know exactly what you have and know what you can and you can't do. Some of us right now, now we're operating and we're perpetuating a cycle of debt because we do not want to change our destination. I was teasing my church and I was teasing another church on last week. I said, girlfriend, do y'all remember this? If y'all be honest, you got to be 40 and over to do this. Do you remember when you would go out on Friday night? You would go to the store. You would go buy that dress. You would keep the tag and put the tag underneath the armpit. You'll keep it there. You'll party, you'll dance all night, drink, whatever you did. And then on Sunday morning, Saturday morning, whatever the case is, you would go do an exchange. Y'all ain't saying nothing. A return and an exchange. Amen. So you can go get you another outfit. Y'all ain't saying nothing. And you would do that because you wanted to make sure, amen, that you had it all going on. Watch this here. I need to say this to somebody listening to me. You are getting ready to become the best. In my sermon that I'm going to be preaching on Sunday, I'm getting ready to let people know, and I don't know who this is for. You might want to make this your Facebook status for the day. Jacqueline, don't you say nothing. You can just shout about it in your seat. But don't tell the church because they're not on here. Here it is. You're about to go from the back of the line to the front of the line. Are y'all listening to me? Hear me. You are getting ready to go to where you need to be. As I get ready to conclude, let me give it to you this way. You got to move from the words later. You know, like I'll do it later. I'll start my diet tomorrow. I'll start looking for a job eventually. Or using words like someday. When you put all those words together, it actually combines other self-imposed roadblocks. That's what you're doing. You're bringing roadblocks into your life. And God is telling me to tell y'all today that later would not be the word that you'll use. You about to start getting some stuff right now. All right? As I conclude for the day, I need to tell you this. Feed your fears. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Feed your fears and your faith will starve. Did you hear what I said? Feed your fears and your faith will starve. But if you feed your faith, and your fears will. All right. So what are you saying to me, Doc? Growing can be very messy business that requires courage. There's 5 factors that come into play: the fear of failure, the fear of trading security of the unknown, fear of being overextended financially, fear of what others will say or think, or the fear that success will alienate peers. Let me give that to you again, all right? These are the 5 factors that come into play when you got fear. Fear of failure. Fear of trading your security for the unknown. 3, fear of being overextended financially. Fear of what other people are going to say or what they're going to think. And lastly, fear that success will alienate you and your peers. Some of these right here that I just named, they have impacted you somewhere in life or another. I must tell you, up until maybe the last 2 years of my life, I used to be a people pleaser. I wanted everybody to be happy, no matter how big my bite was. I was just told that this week. I bark a lot. And it's funny, I bark a lot, but I pay the cost to bark. And I'm learning in this season, barking ain't gonna do you no good, because they ain't got no respect for you no way. We all have fears. But hear me, what fear affects you the most? My brother said to me just yesterday, he said, is me being a loner a blessing or a curse? And I said, is it the fear of being alone? Or is it the fear that they were right? And the question that I have is that I said to him, what emotion do you allow to be stronger in your life? And that answer to that question of those 5 things that I just said is going to be very important, because the stronger the emotion is, that particular emotion wins. And I want to encourage some of you that's listening to me that you're going to have to learn how to feed your faith and starve your fear. Did you hear what I said? You got to learn how to feed your faith and starve your fear. So hear me, even with that, look, I can be alone and it wouldn't bother me. I'm a loner, so I can sit in my house and don't have to go out and do, and I would be cool. I'm that way now. I'm gone a lot. I'm traveling a lot. I minister. I go all across the country. I do that just about every weekend. Somewhere I'm in a different city. I came off the road. Now I work at a school system and I still travel. So in between all that, I'm still doing all of that. And watch this here. Hear me. I can come home and be straight. whether I got 50 people here or nobody here. And I would be just fine. On the average, I don't even be outside past 7 o'clock. And I'm just a homebody. Why? I grew up that way. So, because I'm not one to run the street, I never was fearful about being in the street.